لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين أما بعد.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Right, so now in the previous lessons we were looking at as to why Ramadan is so important and what some of the good things that you can get. Give me one good thing about Ramadan, why it's so important. Go on.
Shaitan's
Good. What about you?
The doors of Jannah are
Excellent.
open.
You give me another one.
You get more reward.
Good. What about you?
You fast.
Okay, I'll accept that. It's one of the pillars of Islam. Good. You? Another reason why Ramadan is so important. What do you get out of fasting?
Knowledge.
What's the purpose of me fasting? Muslim
Listening
fasting?
to Allah.
Yes, and to attain
goodness.
taqwa. To attain taqwa. What's taqwa?
When you do good deeds
And stay away.
and stay away from bad.
Right, so these are the reasons why Ramadan is so important. Today now we're going to start looking at fiqh. Come here. Come here, sit down. Fiqh. This is the word fiqh. What does fiqh mean?
You need to do loads of things.
Like
What does fiqh mean?
fiqh.
I told you this the other day. Do you remember what fiqh is?
Shirk.
Astaghfirullah, shirk is different, man. Shirk is shirk. Fiqh is fiqh. Two different Arabic words. If you don't know, no, listen, wait 1 minute.
Goodness.
If you don't know, say Allahu A'lam. Don't start guessing. You're not allowed to guess. Okay? If you don't know, you have to say, I don't know.
Allahu Akbar.
Right. Very important lesson. Don't talk about the religion which you don't know. It's one of the biggest sins. إِنَّمَا يَأْمُرُكُمُ الشَّيْطَانِ. Shaitan wants you to يَأْمُرُكُمُ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Shaitan commands you to talk about Allah which you do not know about. And a lot of people do this. It's very sad and it's very bad. That people, they think they know it when they haven't studied, and they start talking about stuff where they haven't studied.
No evidence. No.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, وَلَا تَصِفُوا بِأَلْسِنَتِكُمْ هَذَا حَلَالٌ وَهَذَا حَرَامٌ لِتَفْتَرُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ الْكَذِبِ. Don't say, oh, I think this is halal. Oh, I think this is haram. So that you attribute lies to Allah. Because that's what you're doing. If you don't know something, you should just say, I don't know. Let me go find out. Go ask a sheikh, look at the evidence, and then you have knowledge. Do you understand? Right. Fiqh basically means how you do something. So, fiqh is going to be connected to the practical actions. Not things that are connected to tawheed and shirk and matters of the unseen. None of that is fiqh. Because that is the things that you believe. Fiqh is practical. So can you give me an example of a practical action that you do in Islam? A physical action, a verb in Islam. There's loads. Come on.
Like dua.
Dua has fiqh. Wudu has fiqh. Ghusl has fiqh. Praying salah has fiqh. Giving zakat has
I want
fiqh.
to see something with the adverb.
So
Okay. But Ramadan is also an action because you're fasting. That means it has to have fiqh. Okay? So now we are learning more about the fiqh of Ramadan.
a system.
So now, what do you mean assistance?
It's fiqh a system.
Yeah, it is kind of, yeah, well done. It is a system, yeah. And in fiqh, you will have things which are either wajib, mustahab, mubah, makruh, or haram. There is no action that you will do in your life except they will fall under those 5 categories. Either it's something that you must do, something that is recommended for you to do, something which is permissible for you to do. If you do it, it's okay. If you don't do it, it's okay. It's your choice. Something which is makruh, which is disliked, and something which is haram. Can you give me example of something which is wajib, which is farz, which is something that you have to do?
Pray salah.
Praying salah, 5 daily salah, not all salah, such as witr is not fard. Your sunnah prayers, that's why they call sunnah, because it's not fard. Okay? Right, can you give me another example of something which is fard? Yes?
What do you call that again? Dua.
Making dua is not fard. What I'm doing right now, what are we doing right now?
Listen.
Is that fard or not fard? Are you allowed not to know or learn your religion?
No.
No, so it's fard upon us to learn about the religion. Right. So that's fard. Can you give me an example of something which is sunnah? Meaning if you do it, you're rewarded. And if you don't do it, it's okay. You won't be punished. Yes.
Praying the sunnah.
Praying your sunnah prayers. Good. What about you?
Praying a witr.
Praying your witr. Good.
Tarawih.
Tarawih. Good.
Fasting.
Fasting. What kind of fasting?
Uh,
Fasting in Ramadan. Is that sunnah or is that fard? You have to do that. But there are other types of
for
fasting.
kids.
Huh?
Kids fasting.
Kids fasting. Okay, we can accept that. It is sunnah. Train them. It's sunnah. What about this?
Do you miswak?
Miswak, brushing your teeth is sunnah. Yes.
Huh?
Right. Smelling nice. Looking nice. All of these
Dua.
are sunnah. Right. Can you give me an example of something which is mubah? Something that if you do it, is permissible. If you do it, it's okay. If you don't do it, it's also okay. Yeah.
Dua.
No, that's sunnah. That's something which is encouraged.
An
If you do it,
example.
yeah, go on.
So, someone's coat falls on the floor.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick it up.
You don't have to pick it up. It's permissible for you to pick it up. But if you picked it up,
Pick it
it's a
up.
good deed. It's a reward. So it's actually sunnah to pick it up. Okay,
Oh.
let me give you an example. Iftar today, you're going to have the option of eating vegetables
Or chocolate.
or chicken or chocolate.
Chocolate. Chicken.
Whatever you choose from them, is it sunnah or is it wajib for you to eat one of them?
One of them.
As it's wajib for you to break your
Wajib.
fast. Okay, it's wajib for you to no, it's wajib for you to break your fast. It's not wajib for you to eat chocolate. No, it's not wajib for you to eat chocolate. But you have an option. This is permissible and that is permissible and that is permissible. Do you understand? So if you choose one of them, then it is fine. If you eat couscous, that is fine. If you eat rice, that is fine. All of that is permissible. Everything is halal. Right. Can you give me an example of something which is makruh? Something which is disliked?
Swearing?
That's haram.
Oh.
Fidgeting when you're supposed to be listening. Yes.
I
Makruh.
know.
Not cleaning your nose when it is dirty. That is makruh. Yes. Not smelling nice, not looking nice. That is makruh. Not having a nice face, having a mean face.
Not having a shower.
Yeah, makruh. Having a mean face. Makruh.
Taking glasses of kids that need to wear glasses.
Sometimes.
Okay. Might be makruh. Might actually be haram. If you're harming people, that's haram. So, example of haram is something that you are not allowed to do. For example, give me an example of haram. Swearing. Okay. Yeah. Punching, hitting, yes. Harming people. Okay. So now we get the idea. This is fiqh. There is no action in your religion that you will do except that it will fall in one of those five. And now in fiqh you have to understand, how do we do this action now? If something is wajib, how do I do it? If something is mustahab, how do I do it? That is fiqh. Do you understand? And in the rulings of fiqh you're going to have one of those five. Something you must do, something is recommended, something which is permissible, something which is disliked, something which is haram. Right. So now, from the fiqh of fasting, we have this question. Who are the people that must fast? What's another way of saying must? Wait 1 minute. What's another way of saying must? We just said it now. Is it wajib? Is it sunnah? Is it mubah?
Wajib.
Yeah, must is another way of saying wajib. So who is it wajib? If you have these 7 conditions, it becomes wajib for you to fast. There's actually an 8th one. I'm going to add it as well. I'm going to actually let you guess that one. Right. Allah says in this ayah, who wants to read it? Shall I read it? Go on then. A'udhu billah. فَمَنْ
شهد منكم الشهر فيصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر.
Oh, actually you said it right. من أيام أخرى. That was fine what you said as well. يريد
الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر.
What do you think asr? It's a dhamma there.
Oh.
Small one. What is that? Usr, thank you. Right. In this ayah, I'm going to translate it now. Allah is saying here, if anyone sees the beginning of the month, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ, meaning the new moon, we did that before, yeah? How does a new moon start? How does the month start? Either new moon or 30 days. فَلْيَصُمْ, then it becomes wajib for you to fast. But if you are not well, marid, or if you are traveling, or you are safar, then you need to make qada for those days. Allah wants ease for you, yusr, qada, you need to make it up. Yusr, Allah wants yusr for you, Allah wants ease for you. And He doesn't want usr, He doesn't want difficulty. Right. So in this ayah here, this is the main point. These are the people that must fast because Allah has told them, then fast. You must fast.
I don't.
So, these are the 7, the 8th one is
What
here.
is saying?
And I'm actually just giving you the answer to the 8th one. Let's see if you remember. Right. These are the 8 conditions. If the person has these 8 conditions, they must fast. Number 1, must be a Muslim. If a person is not Muslim and they fast in Ramadan, will it be accepted? It won't be accepted because it's an act of worship within Islam. So you have to say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, become a Muslim, and then wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then you start doing good deeds. Then fiqh applies to you. Otherwise, fiqh doesn't apply. Now, sometimes what people do is they ask their non-Muslim friends and relatives and neighbors, and they say, "Why don't you fast with us a day just to try it out, see if you like it?" There's nothing wrong with that, but they won't be rewarded Islamically because this is an act of worship that can only be done once a person becomes a Muslim. So if you are a Muslim, then fasting in Ramadan becomes wajib. Second thing, it has to be from an adult. It becomes wajib. Right, so you didn't fast today because you went to school, and you didn't fast today because you went to school. Have you done something wrong?
No.
Why?
Because
Because you're kids. Excellent, excellent. It's sunnah, it's
But
good.
we can do it.
And it will be
good if we
exactly
do.
it's super good. Right.
It's the one after Sunnah, why is it?
The one after
Remember
Sunnah
that
is
time
wajib.
when you said I did half a fast?
Yeah, and that's for adults.
No, but after Sunnah.
Or the other way. Mubah, permissible.
Yes, mubah.
No, but
For kids.
for kids it'll be sunnah, it'll be good for them to do it. They'll still be rewarded.
Oh, yeah.
Permissible is an action which is not really connected to worship. Islam, yeah.
Brushing your teeth.
Brushing your teeth is sunnah because it is part of Islam. But I don't know, wearing a blue swimsuit.
Navy.
Navy is fine. If it was red, it's fine. If it was green, it's fine. All of that is permissible. It's not part of Islam what colour you wear, what colour your swimsuit is it?
Or your jubbais.
Or your jubbais, your jubba. Right. Number 3, the person must be sane, meaning the person must understand what is happening. Now, sometimes some people, they get ill and poorly. May Allah make it easy for them and protect us. They don't understand what's going on. They're in the hospital. They are unconscious and they don't know what's going on. And it could be that somebody is going through a mental illness and they're going through difficulties and they don't understand. You tell them you need to fast. He might be a Muslim, he might be an adult, and you tell him it's time to fast. They might not understand it.
Brain tumor.
Could be something like that. Allah protect us. So the person must be sane. Number 4, the person must be a resident here. Or ala safar. The person must be a resident. What does that mean? In your city. If you're traveling, then you don't need to fast. If you fast, then it's sunnah and you'll be rewarded. But if you didn't fast, then you are not doing anything wrong. So the person has a choice of whether he wants to fast or not.
But I don't know that.
Yeah, this is for adults. This is all for adults because condition number 2, it has to be an adult. Number 5, the person must be able. If the person is not well, like you've got a relative who's got problems, and if they fast, they're not able to fast. They'll become even worse in their problems. So that person is not able to fast. They need to eat and drink throughout the day. So ability is very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah here saying here, Yuridu Allah bikum al-yusr. Allah wants easy for you. Don't make things difficult for yourself. And sometimes if people end up fasting, they end up harming themselves. Like people with diabetes, for example. Their sugar in their body can become so low, they could, even probably have a heart attack.
Whoa.
So they need to eat and drink throughout the day.
Not
So this,
heart attack, faint.
they could faint, but it could cause a heart attack. It could cause some kind of
No
hemorrhage.
menses.
So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying this person is not able. And if a person is not able, then they don't need to fast. Menses, menstruating. Number 6, for sisters, for women, they cannot be on their menses. And if they're on their menses, then they don't need to fast. And number 7, the person must have the intention. This is very important. A lot of people don't do this. you need to have the intention the night before Fajr begins on that day, to fast that day. If you don't, then the fast is not valid. Right. Number 8. What's number 8? It's not here. What do you think number 8 is going to be? I'll give you a clue. It's here. Let's see if you remember. فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ.
Oh, if you said then you mean.
Yeah, well done. It has to be the month of Ramadan. It has to be within the time period. So if a person fasts Ramadan and he says on purpose, you know what, I'm not going to fast today, I'll just make it up next month on purpose, that's not going to be accepted. It's wajib for the person to fast right now. The only time when a person doesn't need to fast in Ramadan, if they've got an excuse from these people, so then they need to make qada. What's qada, Muhammad? Make up. Thank you. Your name is not Muhammad. They need to make it up. But otherwise, it has to be the month of Ramadan. If it is not the month of Ramadan, then the fasting will not be valid. These are the 8 conditions. If a person has all of these 8 conditions, he is Muslim, he is adult, he knows what's happening, he is in his city, he is able, not ill, he's not on his menses. Can a guy be on his menses?
No.
Or she is not on her menses. He's got the intention, and the month has begun, then the person must fast. Anybody got any questions?
No.
So let me ask you a question. If I travel from here to London, do I need to fast?
No.
Why?
Because you're traveling.
If
You
I
might get thirsty.
if I went to sleep, but I'm a traveller. It doesn't matter if I get thirsty. I can get thirsty if I'm in Leicester. Doesn't matter if you get thirsty. That's not one of the reasons why you don't fast. If a person is travelling, look here, look, resident. If a person is travelling, he doesn't need to fast. Right. Say I went to sleep after Isha, and I woke up at Dhuhr time the next day, and I didn't make my intention to fast. Is my fast valid?
No.
Not valid. Why? Because one of the conditions is
You have to
And
you have to be fast.
Oh,
You have to have
And
the
you-
intention. You have to have the
And
intention.
when you wake up, you have to.
Say there's a woman, right? She started fasting, but during the day her menses started. Is that fast valid? Does she break the fast? Does she carry on?
Fast.
She breaks the fast, and then she needs to make
Shower?
after the menses is over, and then she starts again.
Yes.
But for that day and for the period that she's not
Make up
fasting,
for it.
she has to make qada. Excellent. Yeah, go on then. I think you
You
get
know
it now.
if someone's entered
Puberty. Yeah, he's an adult then. That's number 2.
he just entered.
Yeah, then it becomes wajib straight away. Click your finger.
But he's fasting at the time, so it's
That's
sunnah
what
for
I'm
him.
talking
Yeah, it starts off sunnah, then it becomes wajib by the end of the day. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Have
Yeah.
I started puberty?
No.
No, I don't think
That's
you
when
have.
you become an adult.
Right, I think we should end it there now before this
Oh,
gets
wait,
out of
wait.
hand. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us fiqh. You know the Prophet ﷺ, there was a young man, his name was Abdullah ibn Abbas.
Yeah.
He's the Prophet ﷺ's cousin.
Young
And
man.
he was a young man. And he got him and he made dua for him. And he said, Oh Allah, allimhu, Allahumma faqih fi din wa allimhu ta'wil. Oh Allah, give him fiqh of the religion. And he beat his chest like this. Give him fiqh of the religion and teach him ta'wil. Teach him the meaning of the Quran. You know the dua of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ became true. And he didn't beat his chest before somebody understands it wrong. He tapped him like, yeah, as in like, oh Allah, make this dua go inside of him. He then became known as the Tarjumanul Quran, meaning the person who interprets the Quran. And all the companions used to ask him about the meaning of the Quran. Radiyallahu an. Oh Allah, give us fiqh of the religion and teach us the ta'wil and help us to memorize what needs to be memorized and help us to understand what needs to be understood and help us to practice what we learn. هذا والله أعلم وصلى اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Who's going to press the button? This is a long one. Look at that, 19 minutes. Wow.
19.
Go on then.